What's up, guys? Just finished week 53 of the trading challenge, trading from $100 to $1,000,000. We're currently at 81k. Last week we were at 120k, so we're down 39 grand again. Brutal week. Trading wise was actually really good. I mean, not really good, but we made about 5.7k. And that was just on two trades, P-Land and then Joe. Um, I'll go over P-Land real quick and then we'll get into the portfolio. So, P-Land, very like simple trade. It was just a B-Roots tweet. Just in and out within like 10 minutes or something right there, and we made like 300 bucks. And then the other one was Joe, right? So this is probably the main talking point of the week. So you have Joe, he got wrecked this week. So I don't even hold Joe anymore. We can have a look in the portfolio. I've legit only got Morg right now. And the reason for that is basically Joe got absolutely slaughtered, right? I could tell the markets were pretty weak. I was hoping last week that that was the bottom because I knew if we broke down again, it was going to be brutal, right? And it was. So Joe got absolutely destroyed. You can see here, it dumped 53%, I believe. Yeah, like straight like 55% in pretty much like like 2 3 hours. And that was basically because of IMF. So obviously, I took a loan on IMF. So did pretty much fucking everyone else, and that basically caused everyone to be over leveraged. And then as soon as we broke this trend line, it just went and cascaded down. And it was pretty bad. So you can see it starting to crash right there, and a lot of people lost everything. But I actually got really lucky on this. My buys don't show up on this for some reason, or my sells rather. But I legit sold this right by here. We can even see on here probably. I can show you the transaction at least. Um, right around here. So you can see I was basically selling my Joe right there. And this was like minutes before. So you can see I sold at 9:30. And that was right around here. And then obviously it went cascaded down. Honestly, it was mainly luck, right? So it was basically the reason I sold was just to protect my MOG position. I could tell the markets were really bad and they were about to go lower, and I was like, pretty much can save either Joe or MOG. And I was like, I'd rather save my MOG bag. It's bigger than my Joe bag, and obviously I don't want to be in a position where my liquidation's like, around here, like 180 mil or some shit. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna add my Joe bag into my MOG, and now my liquidation for MOG is all the way down here, at the all-time low, like 60% lower. But others, like, bro, this whole IMF shit is retarded. I shouldn't have done it. It was a mistake, but it is what it is. Um, as long as we don't get liquidated, it'll all be fine. But it does fuck up charts, as you can see on Joe. So yeah, I mean, I did end up buying back into Joe on that dip. You can see right here. So I sold like up there. It cascaded down, and around like 14 mil just down here, I bought in with 16 grand, and then I sold this candle here, which also doesn't show because when you use cow swap, I guess it uses like a different routing and it doesn't show the buy and sells. But I sold this candle right here, and I made about 5k profit, which I'll just show in the transactions. So you can see Joe here. Sold 1.1 mil Joe for 21k. And this is me buying 16k of MOG into Joe, which is now worth 20k. So yeah, basically, Joe was a terrible week for Joe, but I got really lucky on it, and I actually made some money on it, and I didn't really lose anything more than why I had already lost it, when I was at 27 mil. And my MOG position now should be safe, but there's also the risk of a cascade for MOG, because of IMF. So basically, if MOG dips down to 200 mil, there's so many liquidations below here that, it's probably going to dip very hard, like 40 odd percent. Probably go to the all-time low, which obviously my liquidation's down there, so that's pretty risky. So yeah, maybe if it gets close to that 200 mil area, I'll probably just completely wipe out the IMF. But we'll see what happens. Like, I won't let it get to that point while I'm still on IMF, because it's legit gonna cascade if it hits there. There's like 16 trillion MOG supply that will be liquidated if it goes down to 200 mil, and that's like $10 million right now. So obviously that'll fucking destroy the chart because there's only 7 mil of liquidity, so it's pretty over leveraged, just like MOG was, just like Joe was, I mean. But the alternative is, if this is the ETH bottom, which, you know, it could be, then hopefully MOG will just go up from here, and then we'll be fine. So yeah, not an ideal situation for MOG. It is what it is. If it goes down, I'll probably close my position on IMF before it gets to that cascade area at 200 mil. You can see all of this on like Morpho if you wanted to go check. Basically, it shows you. I'll probably be able to find it. So you can see on here, if you just click on market stats on IMF, it'll show you everything. So down here, you can see your liquidations or the things. You can see at risk is 15 trillion capital, or trillion MOG. And then basically this is the start of the cascade. So at 19% dip from current prices, there's 1.2 trillion, which is like $1 million, and then into another $1 million, into like $2 million, and then so on. And it basically, there's a solid amount of liquidations at this area, which will push the price down probably like 40-50%, which is only a, yeah, like at 200 odd mil, 210 mil, say, you'd probably be pretty fucked. But there's also the chance that the markets have bottomed, so that's ideal. But yeah, let's take a look at Ethereum, right? So this is pretty much what we're relying on right now. If Ethereum is bottomed here, which it, you know, it well could be, it's basically retested this area at like 3,800, and now it's bouncing off of it nicely. It pretty much did exactly what, you know, I made a tweet like on this candle here, like ETH is about to break down below 4K, and it did break down. It went a little bit lower than I thought, but it could go even down to like 3,500 and be completely fine. So the main things to look at really is the RSI is, you know, back down to oversold. It's down to the Trump tariff low area. So you can see it's like pretty much down to here. It's the lowest it's been since Trump tariffs. And then what else can we look at? The 4-hour chart, very oversold. You know, in pretty much every dip, if you look, you can see you got here and then here, which is like the other, every dip basically is in this oversold area, and then here. So ideally, this is another, you know, final dip where it like fakes down, sweeps all the lows, and then goes up to all-time high. So yeah, those are the main things. And then the only other thing really, the main thing is like the bull market support band. So this is like the thing that Benjamin Cohen loves to look at, and he's been spot on all cycle. So yeah, basically he was saying it's going to hit like 3,600, 3,500, and that'll be like a strong support level for the bull run. My argument to that is basically last cycle, you pretty much never hit it. Like, you always hovered above it, pretty much. So you very well could already be bottomed at like 3,800 and then just hover above it for the rest of the pump until it's over. So yeah, that's Ethereum. And then Bitcoin looks dog shit as well, but it's like, you know, it's just going to form a W somewhere around here and then go back up, in my opinion. Like, it's just going to, you know, lowest point is like just below this low, like 104K maybe, and then back up. I don't see this thing breaking down anytime soon. I know it's not a top of the bull run. Like, there's many things you can look at. I won't get into it now, but it's not a top. There's like no fucking signals that are saying this shit's over. So yeah, overall, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're fine. They're just doing their thing. They're dipping down before the next pump up. Bitcoin dominance did get a bounce. It hit like 60%. I think I mentioned that maybe last week or the week before. And I said, like, you go up to 60% and then back down. And I do think we're going to go back down. I think Benjamin Cohen is saying it's going to go higher. And, you know, he's usually right. You know, he's way more right than I am. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to go too much higher personally. Other than that, what else? Total 3. This thing obviously made an all-time high, and now it's just struggling again. Basically, it's going to be shit until we get into this actual price discovery area when Bitcoin or when Ethereum is all-time high, when Total 3 is all-time high. That's when your shit's actually going to start popping off. Yeah, but like that could be legit any point now. We're very much like at that breakout point, and that time is coming. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to talk about. We're like, I'll go show Pulse Chain as well real quick. So I've got like only 1K on Pulse, as you know, and that's just for trading. Obviously, I haven't took any trades on Pulse really in a while. But yeah, Pulse Chain itself is holding up on this trend line right now, but it's obviously formed a fucking bear flag, which basically is, you do this, you have like a little uptrend, and then you go down again. But, if Ethereum pumps, this shit won't matter and it's just going to go up anyway. But at the same time, like, it's not a nice pattern to look at. Hopefully it just goes up from here, but, it's Pulse Chain, it's always gone down. But yeah, that's pretty much Pulse Chain for you, it's looking as shit as always. And there's a lot of like fear and FUD right now on the timeline. So that's the main bullish thing, I guess. But other than that, not really much. So yeah, that's all. We're at like 80K and then 1K over here, so 81K. And yeah, we already took 2 trades, they're profitable, but we're down fucking 40 grand for the week because of Mog dipping like 25%. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you next week. Ta-ra.